They win 6-3. Corey Seager with career hit number 1,000. The Astros lose. Seattle wins. And the Rangers get that tiebreaker W over Toronto. They're in the number 2 wild card spot. 1 game behind the armpit. 2nd place in the American League West. Good morning, Metroplex. Shan, Sharif, RJ Choppy, and Bobby Belt with you. But the concern now is what's up with Max Scherzer. Bobby, what were you thinking? You and RJ have forecasted the reality of Ranger pitching injuries. He had a shutout through 73 pitches, and the Rangers say he leaves with a tricep spasm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm similar to Chop in the idea of I'm not going to believe anything that comes out of that building when they talk about injuries because they've so frequently misled us on them. And so, it's a concerning thing when he says, even when he describes it as a cramp or a spasm or whatever he said, the fact that he says like, oh no, normally you can just loosen it up. You can pitch through it and it loosens up. And I could just tell when I was going up into my motion that, oh no, this isn't loosening, this is still tight. And so he looked on his face more concerned than just a spasm to me. He looked like he was troubled by it. And he said after the game, he's going to need to get an MRI on it because he's got to figure out what it is. But man, it's this is just their sort of luck this year with DeGrom, Eovaldi. You go get Scherzer, who's pitched well for the most part since he's gotten here, and now you're dealing with a potential injury with him that could keep him out for a while.
It's a very touch and go situation right now. Like we are waiting for test results to come back. We are waiting to see how he feels when he wakes up this morning. We are waiting to see, hey, is he going to skip his next start? He doesn't have many left. They are not in a position where they could just give up games. They are in as razor thin a margin right now as NFL teams on a day-to-day, on a week-to-week basis. NFL games are determined by, outside of this Cowboy game last week, they're razor thin, these margins.
Yeah.
And that the Rangers are kind of in the same position. There's a half game. They're a half game away from not even being in the postseason.
All of us last week, 2 weeks, had them finishing basically second in the AL West. Now, today I'm going to make the question, will the Rangers make the postseason? Around the room and the truckwreck.com text line, 877-881-1053. Pepe, Mr. 90 wins.
The Rangers will not only make the playoffs, they will win the division.
Whoa.
The Astros are falling off. They've already lost the series to Oakland. The Mariners have been poo-poo trash. So I don't think the Rangers...
I'm sorry. Poo-poo trash?
They've been really bad lately. So I don't think the 7 games and the 7 games against the Mariners and then their final 10 games for the Rangers, I don't think that's going to be as... I mean, it's going to be huge, but it's not going to be like... I don't think the Rangers will struggle as much as we think.
So you're not going to have the Scherzer and Eovaldi injury questions factor in to make them miss?
Not right now. Nope.
Wow. Roberto.
I don't. Last week, I would have said they absolutely missed the playoffs. They've won 4 in a row. They got the tiebreaker over the Blue Jays now. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't feel great about it. I'll say yes. They finish 3rd, and ultimately the Mariners and the Rangers get in.
Because when you look at the wild card, Tampa has the number 1 spot locked in, 2nd in the East behind Baltimore. Then the Rangers are a half game up over Seattle and Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your answer to it?
They make the playoffs as the overall 2 seed and get a bye and win the division.
They win the division?
They win the division.
You agree with Peyton?
I agree with Peyton.
Wow.
They win the division.
Wow. Why?
Houston's fault. Like Houston's got to hit a little skid right here.
Wow.
And this, I think this Ranger team has kind of found their stride again. Offense is starting to click a little bit. Pitching still is a problem, especially in the bullpen. But they're going to.
So Eovaldi, Scherzer, not concerned enough to have them not win the West.
Not yet. Now, obviously, if Scherzer's out for the year, maybe that changes things a little bit. But their offense is starting to hum. Starting to hum a little bit.
Yeah.
And that to me is this team did not get to where they were because of their pitching. Their pitching was good. Their starting pitcher was good. The bullpen was always an issue outside of the first 2 weeks. They bludgeoned their way to this position that they're in, and I think they're about to do the same thing again.
They will not win the West, but they'll get one of the wild card spots. I'm much more worried about Scherzer and Eovaldi than you guys are. I think that is stock pointing down, house of cards, waiting for it all to crumble. Max Scherzer, it feels like he's literally just being propped out there, him and Eovaldi for each start. And you're just waiting. Even through 6, I was like, get him out. Just get him out. He's fine. I don't want anything to happen. It's like fragile China out there.
Who do you feel worse about, though? Because I definitely feel worse about Eovaldi than I do Scherzer. I mean, we'll see on Scherzer. We'll see exactly what the issue is, but
I think I might feel worse about Scherzer.
Eovaldi looks... I think Scherzer's more impactful just given how you've gone without Eovaldi for the last 2 months, basically. But Eovaldi is the one that, since he came back, he just doesn't look right at all.
Eovaldi's final line the other night, 2 1/3, 47 pitches, 27 for strikes. No runs, 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. The velocity crept back up a little bit from the first return. So that was the final line. John Gray is a problem. Big problem.
I mean, he is a problem, right? I mean, like, this is what did he do the other night? Nothing. Like, they had to pull him out of the game, literally, just to make because they were so desperately in need of a win that they had to pull him out of the game after a couple of innings. That is a problem. That is a problem. You are going to kill your bullpen. He either gives you a great game or meh. And look at the last couple of games he's out there. His earned runs are skyrocketing. And after those 2 games where he had back-to-back 7-inning outings, he's been a little bit down.
The X factor in all this, and he has to start tonight. The pressure spotlight, it's time for you, Jordan Montgomery. Like, he has been destroyed in the month of September.
Yeah.
His first start of the month, 6 earned in 3 2/3. His last start, he gave up 5 earns in 5 2/3. This is why they got him. Mm-hmm. You got to go ahead, man, and keep this glued together. That's what this is. So Jordan Montgomery starting tonight, 5:30 pregame, 6 o'clock first pitch against Toronto. He's the X factor for me. What is he going to do with the 2 big dogs on shaky ground?
Because really, since he came here, he was an innings eater, and in the last 3 outings, he really hasn't been. Now, granted, what's the difference between 5 1/3, 5 2/3, and 6? Not much. But previously, it was 6 with 1 run, 6 with 2 runs, not 5 1/3 with 3, or 5 2/3 with 5, or 3 and change with 6. Like, that's, 1 is competitive and keeping your team in the game, giving your team a chance to win, hand it over to the bullpen, as bad as the bullpen may be, hand it over to fresh arms. He hadn't done the last 3 outings.